Welcome to the Way We Win podcast. I'm your host, Robert Lawson Jr., and this isn't about success stories. It's about pressure, purpose, and the process it takes to grow through what you go through. We talk faith, fatherhood, legacy, manhood, marriage, and mindset because winning looks different for everyone. Let's get to it. This is the Way We Win. Welcome to the Way We Win podcast. This is episode number 1. I'm your host, Robert Lawson Jr. Before I go into everything, I want to talk a little bit about why I created the Way We Win podcast, what it means, and what the mission is. When you hear about my theme, it's built under pressure. And pressure doesn't mean it's here to punish you. Pressure is here to prepare you. And the way that we win looks differently for different people. So right now, it's me, Robert Lawson Jr., and I want to talk a little bit about how some of the pressure moments have in my life has prepared me and why I'm winning today. And when I reflect back on some of the things that I had to go through, it wasn't built to break me. It was built to make and prepare me. Now, by the grace of God, I'm married. I've been married 14 years. As of August of 2025, I have 3 amazing, beautiful daughters, and I'm winning, right? And there's nobody else that can tell me any different. But if you look back at my story and you just started to tell people about where I'm from, oh, he's a kid from Compton. He went to school in Compton. He got okay grades. He grew up in a house in Compton. And if you talk about somebody who's from Compton wearing Payless shoes or whatever I was wearing at the time, it may not have sound like winning to somebody, but for me, that's all I knew, right? So growing up, I had my mother and my father. I did grow up in a 2-parent household for the first 13, 14 years of my life, right? I had friends, but I also had bullies, right? You had a neighborhood where there's gun violence, and right down the street, you had prostitutes on Long Beach Boulevard, right? So if we really want to talk about what kind of pressure did I have in my life, honestly, it was normal. So gun violence, having to lay on the ground when you hear gunshots, is that normal looking back? And do I want that for my kids? Absolutely not. But how did that prepare me for the person I am today? And I would just say that a diamond to get refined to have the most amount of carats, like you have to think about the type of pressure, the type of darkness it has to go through to be built to shine super bright. Like that's a diamond that has been through so much turmoil when it comes through the process, right? So been through so much turmoil when it comes through the process. So growing up in Compton, we have choices, right? There are choices where we can choose to do good in school, do not do good in school. We have choices to where if I wanted to go join a gang, they're a rock's throw away, right? On the other side of the park, you have Southside Compton Crip. On the other side of Rosecrans, you got Santana Block. You have Kelly Park. You got Anthony's. You got Bloods right here in Compton, right? Centennial. So there's so many things that we can get ourselves into, but because we can get ourselves into something doesn't necessarily it's meant for us to do. Because you can doesn't mean that you have to, right? By the grace of God, I went to elementary in Compton. I went to middle school in Carson. And I went to high school in Lakewood. And the demographics are way different. I got to see how used cars were the normal in Compton. And then when I went to school in Carson, I seen way more people with Nike Jordans. And I've seen way more people with newer cars, not used cars, but like the year that the car was made. That was new for me. And then seeing black people with money was a new affinity for me to say, hey, some of our people are well off, or what are they doing? Right. So I went for, I think, in Compton, it felt like a more of a lower middle class to a middle class, maybe upper middle class in Carson. And then when I went to Lakewood High School, the demographic wasn't too many people that looked like me, but there was a lot of people who had different things. Now you're seeing kids in high school with a brand new Lexus. And I'm like, whoa, how could you afford a Lexus? Like I'm driving in a 1989 Acura Legend, the year that I was born, I'm driving that car to school and I'm parking it 2, 3 blocks away just so I don't get seen driving or get clowned or something of that sort. Until I had the confidence to know that, hey, it's not the car, it's the person behind the car, right? But making choices in Compton, you have to do that everything. I was on an MTA bus in middle school. So I would have to catch the bus from Carson all the way back to Compton. I would have to catch one blue line, a Carson circuit that would take me to the train station. I would take the blue line to another station in Compton, and then I would take another bus back home. So when you talk about the different interactions you meet on a day-to-day basis, you could get in a fight by looking at somebody the wrong way. Oh, what you looking at? Where you from? Where you live, right? So you have questions to answer. You have a way that you can choose to operate each and every day. And I was taught, hey, look, stay in your lane, mind your business. I know you probably heard that a lot, mind your business, right? So there's different things that I was taught growing up um, to help prepare me for the environment that I was actually in. You got people that you can see on the corner. They make money different ways. You got pimps, you got drug dealers. People maneuver different ways. So for me, I saw how certain people was able to get money, but I was taught, hey, look, everything that you do has a cost. It has a price. So you might dive into this short-term income opportunity right now, but guess what's going to happen? That that payment can and will come due, right? So if you over here selling some work, right, and somebody looking at you because you a big dog, somebody might want your spot. Somebody might telling you, somebody might get hemmed up, and so they out of trouble telling you, right? Now the people messing with females, right? Pimping and pandering. That was another lick where you feel like you got a girl tied around your finger and she can go out here and she can work for you and put you, you put her to work and make some money, and then what? At what cost? And then what happens when she gets tied up or hemmed up, or you in a situation to where now it's messing up your life, right? So there's these opportunities that come in a place of pressure where there's not that many opportunities. Not that many people where I grew up was going to college, thinking about college, right? When I was graduating high school and the last year having to fill out my FAFSA and talk about college, and I didn't know, my parents didn't even know how to fill out a college application. So I'm having to get help from my peers and everything else. I didn't know why college was the path because my parents didn't graduate from college. They maybe one of my uncles probably went to college, graduated, but I didn't have that many examples around me pushing the need for college and the benefits of it. Right. So when I want to go back to be an area where there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of temptation, there's a lot of situations that are going on around you. How do you find the wins? Well, one, regardless of where you are, there will definitely be lessons, right? Now, you can learn from your lessons or you can learn from the lessons of other people. But a wise person doesn't have to go through the lesson themselves to learn from it. And what I saw, people going in and out of juvie, going in and out of jail, I didn't need to go down that path. I needed to figure out another way to make money. And guess what I did? I asked my dad, hey, can you take me to Smart and Final? Let me figure out some candy that I can try to flip and sell. What are people buying in school? Boom, I tried the M&Ms, I tried the Skittles, and I tried that, but they can get that from the grocery store. What they weren't able to get is sour belts. I'll buy the 200 pack container, package those up in 10, and I would sell those. So by the time it takes me to, when I first start selling them, I would probably go through a pack of 200, which makes 20 bags, probably a day or two, right? So in middle school, I package those up after I'm done my homework and go, and someday, hey, make 10 to $20 a day, right? And then, oh man, but it costs about an $8 investment by the bags, the sour belts. I mean, and for $8, it can turn into 20. Right. Sometimes I'll put 9 in the back to kind of skimp and hey, make an extra dollar. But for the most part, I'll try to do right and put 10 sour belts in there. I don't want nobody counting my bags. Uh, the other thing is when you start to get competition, I had to get creative and start putting Kool-Aid inside of the sour belts. Right. So with that, that gave me an advantage where, hey, I was having and selling something that nobody else was doing. If you put the Kool-Aid in and you're trying to sell it same day, the Kool-Aid don't really marinate on the sour belts. You got to put the Kool-Aid in, and then overnight, then it comes a little thick and it's sitting on the sour belts. And the 2 days later, 3 days later, oh, they even better, right? But it's different things that I've learned. So in middle school, I was able to make a little bit of money, right? The profit might have been $4, $5, $6, whatever the case may be per week. Maybe I made $20, $30 per week, but that gave me the resources to buy things. Growing up, yeah, I had a swift hand. I go to the liquor store and hey, I see that candy right there and boom, it's in my pocket and I'm out. And I ain't have to buy nothing, right? But I see my peers do that. That was around my environment, right? So what lessons did I learn from that? Well, I had another little move where we was trying to come up on some T-Mobile sidekicks, and long story short, the move didn't work out too well, and I found myself in juvie for 3 to 4 days, right? And coming out of that situation, I knew that that wasn't a place that I actually wanted to be. So going for some quick money actually ended up costing me a whole lot more than what I was willing to pay, right? I had my freedom taken away from me. I wasn't able to talk to my friends and my family like I wanted to. I wasn't able to do and drive my car, and my car got impounded at the age of 17. So there's different things, some lessons that I had to learn myself, and there's other lessons that I was able to learn from other people as well. So I don't know where you are right now, um, but I've been through it. I've seen my mom uh, give us, me and my sisters, I have 2 sisters. She gave us a Ziploc bag, change multiple times. We walked to the store as kids, 8 years old, 7 years old. We'll go to the grocery store. We thought it was exciting. She'd give us a grocery list. We'll pay for it in change, and anything that was left over, we got to keep and buy stuff ourselves, right? So I didn't think anything was wrong with that, but we had 20, $30 plus bought up ones, maybe a lot of change, quarters, nickels, and we sitting there for 10 minutes counting this out with the cashier to pay for our daily groceries, right? And when that's what you have to do to make it through the week, to make it through the day, I didn't know the obstacles or the hardships my parents have to do just to maintain a certain life and lifestyle for us, right? But I was winning. As a kid, my needs were met. I could go to school. I didn't have the worry of what I was actually going to eat. I might have to eat leftovers for 3 or 4 days, but I was still winning. Now, fast forward from Compton, California, instead of just giving you my whole life story, just broke down some cliff notes, a little bit about the background, and I'll probably go into that later. But I was planted there. I was planted in a place that was not looked up on as the best growing grounds of the world, of America, right? So with that being said, how am I now in a situation to where I have a wife of multiple years? I have 3 healthy daughters, right? I have multi six-figure income by the grace of God to sustain and take care of my family, right? Like I'm winning, and to certain people, yeah, I mean, he's winning, but how did I actually get here? Right? What did the process look like? Well, the process looked like trying to do things that I thought I wanted, that I thought everybody else told me to do, that I went from trying to please everybody else. I think growing up, we're taught to listen to your mom, to listen to your teacher, to listen to authority, to go this way, to go that way, to go this way. But what did I really want? And I never really asked myself that question. What did I want? Right. So I would say before we can get on purpose, you have to figure out what you want and why you want it. Right. I wanted to win. I wanted to be successful. Right. This is the time I graduated and Drake came out with that song. I just want to be successful. Right. I'm not a singer, so don't knock me on that. But success looked like the money, the cars, the clothes. What did they say? The O's, right? Pocket full of dough. And I was chasing it. And I was chasing it. I dropped out of, I mean, I went to high school, went to college, dropped out of college as after high school, I had a job where I was making like 20 something dollars an hour. I was making 3, 4 grand easy a month, right after high school. And then, I was partying a lot. I mean, I was like, man, I had the freedom growing up. My mom always, I can't wait till you turn 18. I can't wait till I turn 18 too. I want to be free. I want to be here. I don't want to be listening to your rules. Right. So clubs, boom, I'm going to the club 3 to 4 or 5 times a week. 18 years old. I was drinking at 16. I mean, but really start drinking at 18 and hanging out hard with on parties. And I'm smoking 7 grams of weed a day. Like I'm living this life outside, end up getting my own apartment at 19, but I found myself doing things that I thought other people told me to do to become successful, to find success, but success didn't lead to happiness. It didn't lead to fulfillment. It didn't lead to purpose. It actually found me empty, right? With a whole bunch of heartbroken women out there, if they remember me or not. But I was empty. I didn't believe in God. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. And honestly, I was looking over my back because I didn't know if I messed with somebody girl or somebody was trying to get me for my money or my situation. And I just didn't feel comfortable in life to a point to where I almost was questioning the purpose and at times didn't want to be here. Went on a journey to figure out if God was real. Started to go to a church. Didn't feel this church, went to another church, and then found a church where they talked about the principles of reading your Bible, fasting, and praying. And this was the guy that I wanted to tell, hey, read your Bible for yourself. Or I'll read this thing. I'm gonna see what it's talking about. I'm gonna do what it's saying to do. And throughout that process, I was able to find out that I was loved and I had a purpose and I was created for a reason. And there is something that only I can do on this planet Earth that nobody else can do. So now I found out I'm valuable, I'm unique, I'm loved, and I have a job to do that nobody else can do. Right. So that alone, my relationship with God, not religion, right? I'm talking about a relationship with the Most High God that his son, Jesus Christ, paid a price for me to have relationship with God, right? I literally was in spiritual jail. I was spiritually bankrupt. I had no relationship with the creator. I didn't believe in him. And I found out through this book, he took my place because my sin, just like when I was going out and stealing stuff and that got me in juvie, when I was going out thinking I'm doing okay in this earth, I broke a lot of spiritual laws that separated me from the God of the universe. But his son died on the cross for me that I might have a relationship with him. Oh man, that's winning. That's one because everybody I'm around, they're doing the best that they can. And as much as I love my dad, and my dad played the best example, and I'm super grateful for, his standard is not the same as God's standard. My mom's standard is not the same as God's standard. My wife's standard, my standard is not the same as God's standard. Right. So, with that being said, there's always an opportunity to grow. There's an opportunity to love more. There's an opportunity to keep learning. There's an opportunity to experience life in its fullness. And that's what this podcast is about. What winning looks like, right? That the way we win, that's what this podcast is about. The way we win is a personal journey and experience that is individual to each unique person. And the way that we win is technically built under pressure. Like I said, it's built under this preparation. And people could be winning in the finances. People could be winning in their relationships, whether they're married, whether they're being a good parent, whether the relationships at work or their friends, right? And if you could be winning in the freedom that you actually have. It's there's multiple areas in life to win at, and I think if we can take the time to sit, to reflect, to think about what we've been through, the contrast to life, I think that's the beautiful thing. So the way we win, there is a winner in you. We have an opportunity to say that this is what we get to do, not what we have to do, right? I had to go to school as a kid. And at times I feel like I have to go to work. But when I wake up and say, hey, I get to go to work, I get to work out, I get to be a father, I get to be a husband. This is what we get to do. I get to be a friend. I get to speak to you. This is a win for me. So, pressure, pressure, pressure. Let's talk about pressure in my relationship as being a husband, right? Before I wanted to become a husband, I did it, right? I was living a single life. I didn't even think about getting married. I saw my parents get divorced. And the last thing I thought I would do was to get married, right? I was single. I had friends. My dad taught me to have friends. Why you calling them a girlfriend? Have friends. You ain't got to lie to them. So I felt like, hey, don't ask me any questions you don't want to know the answers to. That's how I kept it with my friends. You was cool. I was cool. I'd be respectful. We could have a good time. I'd treat you right. But we were friends, right? It wasn't until I started my relationship with God that I was taught to look at women like sisters or mothers, aunts, whatever the case may be. I wasn't taught that there was a standard of love. And if I'm looking at a woman like a sister or a mother and not like an object to be used and to be abused or to, you know what I mean, to be used and thrown away. Like, and I used to treat women like a sport, right? And now having this relationship with God has taught me, hey, I need to look at them differently. Okay. So now I have this new idea of how I'm supposed to look at women. And if I'm looking at them as a mother and a sister, then how you look at someone as a wife. And he talks about in this ancient book, he talks about how you become one, and he who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord. And I'm like, ooh, favor. I already got God love me, but you telling me I get favor? Like when I think about favor or favorite, I'm like, oh, you've been picked out, you've been selected. But then it says when you get married, y'all become one. So I'm getting favor from God, but then I also become one with this person. Oh, I gotta count the cost because this is serious. But what is this person? What does this wife look like? Right? What are the duties? What are the ideas of somebody I should choose? And it talks about a wife being a helpmate. So previously I was taught to, hey, is she bad? Do she got the curves? You want this object or this person to light up the room when you come in. Right? You want the homies to say, oh, Rob got another bad one. That's what I thought. But now building this relationship with God, it's who is this? If we become one, is this person looking out for me like I would look out for me? Does this person have my back when I don't even have my back? Is this person somebody, if we were to get married, how would they treat our kids? Right? Is this person somebody that would choose to build with me, that would choose to follow me, but at the same time that would choose to challenge me and push me and help to make me better as I do the same for them, right? So I have to pray and I have to fast about it. And when you think about marriage as a covenant or a commitment or uh something that you do before God that is not supposed to end, that's a big deal. So as I start thinking about this person, I start thinking, oh, well, hey, they gonna get old one day. And what if I'm not as attracted to them? Then who you married to, right? Think about that. But that's just one aspect. But is it somebody that, hey, can you cook? I got to every day, right? Is this person has have virtue? How do they treat other people, right? How do they take care of themselves? Do they love kids? Do they not like kids? Right. So a lot of these things were important to me. And my wife, who I've known since I was 15 years old, she was there, and I'll go in that story later, but she had all these attributes, and we were just friends at the time. Um, and I've had situations where I did not treat her the best. She was there through me treating her at times like an object or a number. Uh, but she always looked out for me. She was a friend, uh, and I cared for her, but I never saw myself marrying her until I had that deep conversation with God to think about what it is I should be looking for. And once it clicked, I proposed in March. And after I proposed in March, we got married in August. And it's been a ride. It's been a ride not only because one, I made a commitment before God and I'm grateful, but now all these other old habits, all these cultural things I've been taught from family or friends or TV or just different things. Now I have to unlearn, right? So when you become one with somebody, well, how do you now move forward? She gonna work? Am I gonna work? Right? Do you listen to me? Everybody likes talking about submit to your husband, but are we loving and caring, and are we guiding them properly? Are we loving our wife like Christ loved the church? So just because I got married and I was ready for marriage doesn't mean that I had all the qualifications for the job. And a lot of things I had to learn along the way. So there was a lot of pressure when, you know, um, she had her first child, and, I was, hey, I got this. You don't have to work anymore. Right. A lot of pressure is there when, we sharing banking accounts, and she's counting on me to make it happen at work. A lot of pressure is there when, I used to treat women as objects, and I have tendencies to be harsh in my communication and not think and talk about her feelings because I wasn't necessarily able to talk and express my feelings. So if I can't do that for myself, how do I do that for somebody else? Even though I love them, I say I care for them, I say I made a commitment to them, but I haven't been taught this, right? So the pressure of trying to uphold this commitment before God, to stay steadfast as you become in this financial situation where you can make other decisions, man. Hey, this girl looking at you that way and this girl looking at you that way, but you made a commitment before God, right? Of the pressure of staying steadfast on the task at hand, which I said was marriage, right? To have a tough conversation when you do something out of pocket and you have to ask for forgiveness, or you have to have a conversation about how do we move forward through this situation. So there's definitely pressure with decisions that have been made, that will be made, that you choose to commit to, right? Just because I'm married doesn't mean that my eyes aren't in the back of my head. Like, I can still see, and I can see more than my wife. I can see a bad chick when she walks past. But what is it? Is it a bad chick, or is it just, hey, she's adorned in fine clothing, right? She has the nice makeup or the hairdo, right? But how is she spiritually? How is her virtue, right? How does she treat people? Is it just aesthetics? Is it a shell with no pearl, right? So with my wife, I found a pearl. When I was single and I was outside, I was running through these seashells. So the pressure didn't start with me running through seashells and running through women. Nah, that's easy. Any man can please multiple women, right? If they just tapping on that situation one time. But how does a man please one woman for a lifetime? How do I serve this person for a lifetime? And the pressure doing that every day as they grow as an individual, as you're there to water, as you're there to provide sunshine, as you're there even when you don't want to, sticking it out, right? So these different decisions as I grow have put pressure on me, but only to prepare me for what is to come. Having a wife, there's so many benefits of me being faithful to my wife. One, I'm not spending excess cash out on these women. Right back in the day, man, you will run, you gotta please this one, go get food for this one. Pa, I gotta chat this girl, I gotta keep up the story over here. I gotta do that. And you still gotta grind, and you still gotta grow. And now you gotta watch your back because you don't know who girl you hit because you just was having fun at the club, right? And for you, it was a one night situation. For them, you messed up their life. You hit the girl that was their prized possession, right? So having a wife now, I don't have to worry about what am I coming home to. I don't have to worry about trying to please multiple people. No, it's one person that I get to serve, right? And she helps me and and we complement each other. She's really great at organizing and there's other attributes that she's really good at that I might not be the strongest at, right? And then I'm good at other attributes that she might not be the strongest at. But when we come together, it's amazing. It's amazing, right? I mean, the ancient book talks about how one could put to flight, I think, 1,000 or 2,000, but two can put to flight 10,000. Right? The math ain't math, and one can do 1 or 2,000, and two can do 10,000. That's a multiple. So we've been able to grow our family. We've been able to invest in our kids. My wife has been able to do the field trips and to go out and I've been able to go into the workplace and help build these companies and help be a great contribution to these companies because when I come home on what am I gonna eat today? And I'm stressed out and hey, I gotta deal with this and I gotta run to the kids' school and I gotta do this. No, together we are a team and we've accomplished some really great things. So with the Way We Win podcast, I will introduce other guests eventually. I will also bring my wife so we can have a conversation and you can see the dynamic of how we communicate, but also how we help complement each other, how we contrast and how we win together. So that'll be that the yeah, winning together with the Lawsons. Um, I want to talk to anybody who's dealing with some type of pressure in any form or facet in your life, right? Whether it's financial, whether it's relationship pressure, whether it's fitness, right? Like right now, I've committed to certain fitness activities for the next 20 days and I'm on day 9, right? Because I needed to reboot my mind to believe myself and to know that I can do whatever I set out to do. So I would say, regardless of what you're going through right now, what area of pressure you're going through, first of all, realize is not there to break you. The pressure is there to prepare you. So whether or not it's pressure in your relationship, what is happening is it's testing. It's testing the situation to see if it can break, if it can stand, if it can withhold. Because if it can break, it wasn't built properly to begin with. You need to reset the foundation. You need to make sure that what you're building has a proper foundation because whatever you're dealing with isn't meant to break. It's built to prepare. It's built to withstand, right? So this situation, what are you going through? Why are you going through it? And don't say it's nobody else. What I need you to do is I need you to take full responsibility. I'm in this situation because I did X or I did not do X. But what I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to take full responsibility for it, where I am right now. Who've I allowed to hurt me? Who've I allowed to get over in me in this situation? What I was allowing my body to go through if I didn't work out, if I didn't eat the right food? Guess what? Take full responsibility of where you are because where you are is a starting point in Google Maps. And guess what? To get to a destination in Google Maps, you need two things. You need a starting point and you need a destination. And everybody has a destination in mind, but nobody knows where they are. Because if you knew where you are, guess what you can do? You can get the route. You can find a path. So I need you to take full responsibility for where you are in your life right now. I don't care who did what, and your points may be valid, but I need you to say this. I am here because of the decisions I've made and the actions I've taken so far. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make better decisions so I can get to X. If you don't have any money saved, I have not been the best financial steward of the finances that God has allowed me to have in my life. Even though I have a negative banking account, I'm going to take action today to move forward to start saving money so I can invest it, so I can have a emergency fund. I have been in a bad relationship for the last too many months, too many years. But what I am going to do today is I'm going to work on developing me to become a loving person, to become a caring person, to not become weak where somebody can run over me, but I will have a standard of a person who somebody can respect, love, can see fully, because I know that I value me. I am valued by God. And the person that is supposed to be for me will see that and they will value me, and we will value each other. And we will have a healthy relationship that we can work to together, that we will commit to developing and working on each other to become better, right? Like, this is what we get to do. The way we win is built under pressure. That's this. The way we win is built under pressure. So right now, regardless of where the pressure is coming from, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. Okay, great. You have a financial problem. Okay, where's your free time? Are you on social media all day? Put a timer. I have a timer on social media. I cap out all my platforms. Right now, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and I think there's one more. I don't know. 4 of them though. I cap out at about 30 minutes. Then it turns me off and I have to hit add 10 more minutes if I want to. But if I have time to watch social media for 40 minutes, I have time to listen to an audiobook for 40 minutes. I have time to listen to an audiobook for an hour. I have time to jump on a course for an hour, because an hour a day is 5 hours a week, which is 20 hours a month, right? So what happens is you don't have a financial problem. You have a value problem, because I don't care if you work at McDonald's. In California, I think they paying people at McDonald's $20 an hour. And I bet a manager might make $40 an hour or $80 an hour. But guess what? There's people at the top of the food chain at McDonald's that make millions of dollars. Some of these owners make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, right? So is it you have a financial problem? No. You have a value problem, because when you can add value to the marketplace will pay you that value. That's what it is. So how do you make yourself valuable? Well, you add more talent, you add more skills. People go to college because they feel that there's value in that diploma. That's it. They go to school for years to show people that they are trainable, coachable. I can at least learn something. So there has to be some value there. You've proven to me that you've committed to something long enough to be disciplined enough to get this piece of paper. But guess what? College isn't for everybody. I did 2 years of college. I got my associate's degree and I was learning business. And guess what I found out? My marketing teacher didn't know how to market. I'm asking him because at that time I was marketing on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And I'm trying to ask my marketing teacher how to market on social media. I think I had no clue. He's reading from a book. So I'm paying out of pocket for some junior college to learn from some marketing guy who doesn't have any real life application. And then I'm going to this business class to learn from a business teacher who doesn't have any real businesses. So my value over the last 13 years, I spent a lot of that time working with small companies. When I say small companies, multiple millions a year, maybe a couple 100,000 a month. And I was willing to do the work to learn how to become valuable. So it's, hey, well, what do we need to do to grow and scale? And I've learned this business and I built this department and I learned this CRM and I learned about Salesforce and I added value. And hey, if you do this, maybe we can try this. And I'm using the owner's money to help build their company. But in return, guess what's happening? Yes, some of the stuff works and some of the stuff doesn't work. But when it works and they make more money, guess what? I become more valuable. I have something, I have a skill, I have a knowledge of something that I can do that I can apply to a marketplace, and that marketplace pays me big bucks. So whether I work with this company or work with the next company, I know my worth and I know what that can bring me, even if they don't see it, even if they don't know yet, right? So it doesn't take this certificate to mean that you're valuable. You go learn a skill. There's Udemy, there's YouTube University. There's multiple places that you can learn a skill and you can add value in a marketplace, and you can bring financial success to your household. Okay. All right. So this is my first episode. Again, the mission behind the way we win. A little backstory about me. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I am Robert Lawson Jr. I appreciate you spending the time and I look forward to adding more value to come. Thanks again. This is the way we win. Built under pressure, built with purpose. If this bless you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Let's keep winning.